First thing I want to talk about is research. You're going to have to do a lot of research when you're looking for a truck driving school. My biggest suggestion is don't hop on the first plane smoking. Don't just say, I want to go to truck driving school today. Tomorrow you call up a truck driving school and they say we can take you Monday, and you just go there. I would say give yourself some options, and I want you to weigh out those options. For me and Jamal, we applied to 2 different truck driving schools, and both basically said the same thing over and over again. Like, basically they had exactly what we wanted. They were gonna teach us and we were gonna be on the road, but there are things you're going to have to look out for, and things that you have to be aware about. When you apply for these schools or go to these schools, you have to make sure that they are right for you, and not just that they're going to give you the training. Like I said, when you call up to schools, you're going to talk to somebody. They're going to be a recruiter, and they're going to basically give you all the positives, especially when you're going to a company school. Now, your company schools are like your CR Englands or your Swifts. And when you call them, they're going to basically ask you, hey, do you have a driver's license? Are you willing to get your CDL permit within the next week or so? And we can get you started on Monday, and we're going to provide you a hotel room, and you're not going to pay anything out of pocket, and a lot of stuff. I want you to be aware of those things. All of it may be true, but there's going to be things that you're going to have to look out for. The first thing I want you to look at when you're looking at a school is, I want you to look at what type of school you want to go to. And that means, like, basically, do you want to go to a school in-state or out-of-state? Now, me and Jamal opted to go to a school in-state. That was for 2 reasons. One, CR England wouldn't take one of us with our driving record. And then the other reason was we found out that Swift was right around the corner. We ended up going to Swift, and it was like, we lived in the Fulton area. And if you're in Richmond, Virginia, if you know where White Oak Mall is, if you go up by past White Oak, you're going to run into Charles City Road, I believe it is, and you're going to make that left, and Swift is right there. You're going to run right into Swift. So it was a convenient location for us, and it was just right there. So yeah, so we opted for in-state for those reasons. Now, for some of y'all, I want you to think about that. Are there going to be a lot of distractions for you in-state? Are you going to be able to focus in-state? But also, I want you to weigh the options as well as, like, if you're going to go out of state, it's going to be a little bit more expensive out of state. You don't know what things cost out of state. Are you going to be able to have money coming in and out to you? Because even though they might provide you somewhere to stay, they're not going to provide your food. They're going to provide you a bus ticket there and, yeah, a hotel room, but they're not going to provide you any food, no water. You might get food during the first couple of days of class. They might say, hey, here's some Pizza Hut or something, but yeah, you're not going to too much have options. And if you don't have nobody sending you money, or if you don't have a steady income coming in while you're out of state, you might want to look to in-state school. Next, I want you to look at the accreditations for schools. Like I said, when you talk to people at particular schools that you call, they're going to say we have the best training program and we're ranked number 3 in the country, or all of our graduates graduate with their CDL within the first 4 weeks of class, and that nature. I want you to do your research, and when I say do your research, I want you to actually talk to people that actually go to these schools, or if you don't have anybody, look on YouTube. Research that particular school on YouTube. I wish I would have done that. Like I said, we just kind of hopped on whatever was there at the time. We didn't really do too much research. We was just like, hey, if they can provide us our license, we're gonna go ahead and roll with it, which is not always a good deal, because I got stories, but we'll leave that for another video of because I went to 2 different truck driving schools. And yeah, you don't want to go somewhere where they're not accredited, and you don't want to go somewhere where you're going to get lackluster teaching, because at the end of the day, you will be paying these people for a service, regardless if they tell you it's free or not. And going into that, we're going to talk about the contract. So talking about those contracts, there's 2 different types of ways you can pay for truck driving school, at least that I know of. And one is going to be you can pay out of pocket. Usually it requires a down payment, and then after that you'll pay like weekly, or I don't know, something like certain installments. That's all your payment arrangement that you set up with your recruiter or whoever's getting you into the program. 2 is you're going to sign a contract basically stating that after you complete the program, you're going to work for that certain company, and then they're going to take it out of your checks. Now, when you get your first week of class, it's going to be like in class work. You're not going to go straight into a truck. And within that first day or 2, they're going to hand you a contract, which is basically saying, hey, you have 3 days to basically decide whether this program is for you. And if it's not for you, you will let us know within those 3 days, or you're still going to owe us our money. Now, for example, when I went to one of my truck driving schools, it was basically, hey, our program is $6,000, but you're not going to pay anything right now. But once you obtain your CDL, you're going to work for us for, I want to say it was 2 years or like 100,000 miles, whichever one comes first. And we're going to take installments out of your checks. Those installments will include whatever, basically like $75 for this and $100 for this day and all of that. So what basically happens is once you sign this contract, it's going to say that you're locked in and you have 3 days to return that contract. Now, on the 4th day, if you don't return that contract within those 3 days, you're going to have to pay these people either way. So if you decide, if you get your contract on Monday and on Friday you decide, hey, I don't like this program is not for me, then you're still going to have to pay them that $6,000. And trust me, they will call you every day for those $6,000. So you don't want to waste time, and you definitely don't want to sign a contract that you know you're not going to be able to keep up with. So yeah, keep that in mind. Don't just sign the contract. I wouldn't, because it's gonna be so structured sometimes that you feel like, yeah, I gotta sign this contract right here and right there. If you have 3 days, you don't have to sign that contract right then and there. Because once it's in their hands, it's in their hands. Don't sign that until you're for sure this is what you want to do. I would even go as far as taking that 3-day trial and being like, I'm going to hold off and see. So yeah, I thought I had to sign this contract to just continue within my first couple of days or whatever case. You don't have to do all that. You can take that contract, take it home with you, look it over it, call a family member, call your mama, call your daddy, call your auntie, and ask them, like, what you think about this contract, should I sign, whatever. And also read the fine print. Next thing I want you to ask your recruiter, or ask your recruiter, or just asking the school in general when you call, is about class size. They're not going to tell you this either, because their job is to get you in the door. You want to think about class size. One being, even though there's a lot of trucks out here on the road, there's not going to be a lot of trucks in truck driving school. I'm going to tell you, peak season for truck driving schools are usually your summers and springs, fall and winter are going to be like your light days in truck driving school, and that's when you kind of want to start. And it's not like that all the time. If you feel like in summer you plan on going, I would call just to see like, hey, I was thinking about starting school in July. What y'all classes looking like? Like, how many people y'all already have signed up for the program? This, that, and the third. Why? Because when you get on the road, you don't. And I seen it. Luckily, when I got to truck driving school, there was a handful of people in my class. And I mean, you can count us on the fingers. But the class before us looked like they had about 10 students. And the class behind us looked like they had about 30 students. Now, with us 6, we all could get some training. But those other 2 classes, somebody won't get no proper training. And once again, you're paying somebody for a service, whether you have to pay them out of pocket now or later. You want to make sure you get all the training you can. And it gets kind of hard when you out there and everybody's taking a turn, and then you look up and it's 2 o'clock and class is about to end and you haven't been in the truck once. That can cause a lot of problems. Next, we're going to talk about what you actually need for truck driving school. I'm going to stress this, and it's not on my part, but I've seen it, and I've seen some good people succumb to this. Make sure you get everything you need before you go to truck driving school. I'm gonna try to keep it cool with y'all real quick. People ain't gonna tell you when they don't want you there. Once again, their job is to get you in there and get your money. Whether that means signing you up for these contracts and cutting them off, or getting you in a truck and making them their money. Truck driving is a $1 billion industry. And these people will not hesitate to get you in the door to send you home. That being said, I recommend that you get your CDL permit before you go to school. Regardless of, they say we have a program for you, this, that, and the third. Go to the DMV, study those books, and also down below I'm going to link the 2 apps that me and Jamal used, which was like CDL Genie or Genius. I'll link them down below. Don't worry about it. But and most of these apps will go state to state. But I know I've used them in mine in Virginia, and it helped out a lot. But get your permit before you go, because that will hold up time. You don't want to be stuck in classes for like an extra week because you don't have your physical permit, like your actual card on hand. And then you don't want to get there and it's like they're kind of pushing you on the back burner because you don't have your permit. It gets like that sometimes because the class is moving and the class is trying to move at a steady pace, and they'll be like, well, when you get your permit you can drive the truck, because you can't drive the truck or operate the vehicle until you have that permit. So you're going to need it. So make sure you get your permit before you go to school, whether they have a program or not. I know a shipper's choice, you have to stay in the class and you can't really drive until you have that, and you don't want to be in school for 3 weeks, because after 4 weeks your time is up. You don't want to be in class 3 weeks and only have a week or so to actually drive, and then you don't learn everything on the truck, because your permit is one part about it, one part of it, but when you go to the DMV, you're going to actually need to drive, and drive time is a real big thing when you're going to truck driving school. Other than your permits, make sure you ask them if you need any endorsements. I know Prime, FedEx, a lot of these companies require endorsements, and you don't want to get somewhere like you're way out in Springfield, Utah, or whatever it may be, and you get all the way there and you're like, well, I don't have my endorsement, and it's going to be hard for you to go to their DMV because they don't have your information and you have to wait and all of that. So make sure you're asking about any endorsements that you may need. Research endorsements as well before you get them. Don't just say, I'm going to get my, let's say, hazmat You don't want to, if you don't want to drive a hazmat truck, do not go get your hazmat endorsement, and that company is just not for you. So yeah, research endorsements, and we'll talk about endorsements in another video. Your IDs, birth certificates, marriage licenses, take all that. Prime example, another horror story. I knew a guy, we went to truck driving school together. They waited until like week 4 to tell this man that they don't have a copy of, they don't have a copy of his birth certificate, and he had to go back home, or whatever the case may be. And that's messed up, because then he still had to pay that money, and then he still was locked into a contract. So make sure you bring any identifying information. Next and last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to research is going to be the type of truck you want to drive. And this might not apply to everybody, but tractor trailer driving is not the only form of truck driving that is out there. For example, me and Jamal are expediters, which only requires us to have a CDL Class B license. We do not need a Class A. If you're looking to drive like Greyhound or, I don't know, GRTC, you do not have to have a Class A license. It's great to have your Class A because you can drive almost anything, but you don't need it if that's not the truck you're trying to drive. And if you work for like Greyhound and stuff, all you need is a Class B with a passenger endorsement. You don't have to take these big drawn out programs, get there, and then you're trapped into a contract with, let's say, CR England. You get to CR England just to get your Class B, just to become an expediter like I am. You don't need it. I mean, it's pretty much a waste of time. It's pretty much a waste of time if that's not the route that you're trying to stay with and go, and it's a waste of money. I know it was a big difference for me when I got to my second school between getting my Class A and getting my Class B license. My Class A would have cost me $6,000 out of pocket, whereas my Class B only cost me $3,000 without my passenger endorsement on it. So yeah, make sure you're going to a school that's going to cater to you, and make sure you stick to that too, because a lot of people are going to try to pressure you and say, well, you just need to get your Class A because you can drive anything with your Class A. But I don't care. You're not getting no more money out of me, because all I want is my Class B. All I need is my Class B. Next, we're going to talk about being financially prepared to go to truck driving school. The next two sections are not going to be too long, because it's not too much to really say. I just want you to be financially prepared, and I don't want you to be in the situations that I had to go through trying to get through truck driving school. So my first advice, which no one ever told me, I wish I would have saved for truck driving school. Basically, Jamal was fed up with his job. My job wasn't paying me enough money. He said, let's go to truck driving school. We called up a truck driving company, and that following, well, no, we waited a little while, and then we went to truck driving school. By the grace of God himself, Jamal took out like his 401k, and he had like his last check. That's how we was able to make it through truck driving school. But I know that is not a lot. That is not a lot of people out here. A lot of people are going to truck driving school on their last resort, and I was one of them. We were one of them. So I want to save y'all a little bit of time and money before you just jump out there. So yeah, save to go to truck driving school, whether it be in-state or out-of-state. I would prepare to save at least $2,000 per person. I know that sounds like a lot, and you do not have to do that. There's ways of making it. Trust me, when you're struggling and you're hungry, you will make a way. But that $2,000, I would say, would be like for bills. Bills that you're going to have to pay when you're in truck driving school that still happens whether you're in truck driving school or not, like your phone bill, your insurances, medications, things that you're going to have to keep up while you're in truck driving school. And if you're in state, you can probably find a part-time job or something. Like I said, I would suggest against that, just because I want you to be as focused as you can, because this is a whole different career change, and you don't want to spend the time trying to learn something and then you have distractions holding you back. So yeah, that money would be for bills. What the? I'm sorry, y'all. A fly got up in here. He played too fucking much. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, so that money would be for like your bills, and as well as your food, anything you may need during your stay at truck driving school. Like I said, if that's something you can't do, then don't worry about it. But just know, I would rather save than to just jump out there and then everything falls apart, really. So yeah. What else I was gonna say when it came to whatever we're doing? Oh, condense any bills that you may have. And that's not just for truck driving school. I'm gonna also make that for when you're actually on the road. Condense any bills that you may have. Let's say you have an apartment and you're going to truck driving school and you live alone. If you can, just set up storage. If you can, just go ahead and set up you a nice little storage, or ask a friend, that might be cheaper, a friend or a family member, like, hey, can I keep my stuff here? I'm going to truck driving school and I'm prepared to actually be a truck driver. So you're not going to be really staying at home much anyway. That's something that could go if it can go. Your cell phone bills, try to find a cheap provider while you're in truck driving school. You're not going to need a fancy cell phone until you're like on your truck on your own. All you need is service enough for somebody to call you and give you a load, this, that, and the third. Once you get out on your own truck and you done got them couple of checks you done got while staying with your mentor or whatever, then you can worry about getting a more expensive phone. But you don't need nothing fancy nancy. All you need is something touch screen that you can get calls on or whatever, so you can stay in contact with family members and this, that, or whatever you need it for. I almost caught myself, I almost said the F word. But yeah, and that also applies to your self-maintenance. Like this right here during truck driving school, I understand. I wouldn't spend on makeup and shoes and things of that nature, because I'm in here and I'm in here for a purpose, and my money has to be used wisely because everything is tied up right now. So consolidate that and your self-maintenance, and also your food budgeting. If you're going to be going to truck driving school, stop eating out, and that's a whole nother topic in its own. I would try to just go ahead and stop eating out completely and all together and learn how to cook or something, because you don't know where your truck driving school is going to be at. You don't know how much McDonald's is here and McDonald's is there. And let me tell you, them spending $5 on McDonald's each day is going to tally up whether you like it or not. You can go to Martin's or, I'm sorry, Murray's or something and get you a fat bag of chicken sandwich patties for $3.99, and that'll last you 2 weeks, and you just spent $5 on a McChicken, a fried iced tea. So yeah, try to start working on lowering your food, whatever you spend on food, whatever you spend on self-maintenance, to it's very like grimace. Like you don't want to be spending unnecessary money when everything is tied up. And then I want to talk about, and it also goes with a little bit with being financially ready. Make sure when you go to school that that it works for you. And when I mean works for you, I know some of us have kids, Some of us have jobs. Some of us got vacations planned coming up. Make sure you are working around all of this. Truck driving is a serious career. And I mean serious on your pockets and serious on your future. You don't want to take a career opportunity, because I'm going to be completely honest with you, unless you know of those spots, you're going to have to drive at least a year on the road before you can actually take a local job home. And if you have kids at home, you can't really be OTR and when you don't have anybody to watch them, or you feel like you're going to be losing out on time with your kids. So make sure it's going to be the right career for you if that's something you want to do. As far as like your job goes, if you're going to be going to school, realize that most schools are going to be Monday through Friday. You might have to cut back on hours, which might cut back on some money, which might hurt your bills a little bit. So make sure that it's going to be the right time. Stack that money, or whatever the case may be, or move some investments to the side and pull out some type of your financial portfolio and work something out, because you can't miss a certain amount of days of school, and once you hit a certain amount of days that you've missed, they will cut you for most of these programs. If you got a vacation coming up, you can't get to school and then be like, hey, I know I'm in school, but I already planned a cruise for the end of this month, because they're going to politely tell you, look, you only can miss 3 days of school. I don't care if you was going to go see Baja Men. I don't know. What's a good movie? I don't care if you was going to go see Rick Ross or something. It don't matter. Yeah. So yeah, just make sure it's the right time for you, but have those things in mind. Think about your kids. Think about what you got going on during the time that you plan on going to school, and think about your work schedule, because we can't just stop our lives sometimes to fulfill our dreams. It's great if you can do that, but not everybody can, so keep that in mind. Next, I'm just going to talk about getting your permit. I already touched on it. Get your permit before you go to truck driving school, whether they say they can help you get it or not. If any of my friends that know me hit me up on Instagram or whatever the case may be, I can help you out with certain things or certain questions you might have trouble with. But like I said, I'm going to put those apps down below. And then get a health screening if you can. When you go to truck driving school, you might not hear this a lot, but you're going to have to take something called a physical. I know you know what a physical is, but you're going to have to take a physical, and your blood pressure has to be at a certain mark. You can't have severe sleep apnea. It's certain health conditions that you can't have to be an OTR truck driver, and those schools sometimes require you to fit within those range. I'm gonna say if not all of them want you to fit within that range, or they just can't accept you. And once again, sometimes those physicals happen the first 2 days. Sometimes they don't happen till 3 weeks in, and you don't want to be locked into a contract just for them to tell you like, hey, you got high blood pressure, you can't be here. So stop by your doctor and stop by your doctor and just ask them, like, do I have high blood pressure? Am I at risk for high blood pressure? Do I show any signs of having sleep apnea or diabetes and things like that? Because sometimes you can take care of it now and then don't have to worry about it so much later, or whatever the case may be. I mean, I wish I would have done that, because I have a high blood pressure problem. And yeah, I don't want to be, I could get mine done quickly, but that might not be the case for everybody. And then my last advice really is two things. One, if you can bring a friend with you to truck driving school, like if you know one of your homies that's just like, hey, and you just like, hey, I'm going to truck driving school, and they show some type of interest and it works for them too, I would say bring a friend if you could. I'm almost glad that I brought Jamal with me. Like I said, almost glad, because he was a little show off in truck driving school, but I am glad that he was there and I had somebody I could talk to that I knew and I was comfortable with talking to. So bring a friend if you can to truck driving school. If you can't, don't worry, you will make plenty of friends. And some of them are going to be a little crazy, some going to be a little weird. But when y'all go through a struggle together, y'all going to make it. Y'all going to have, you're going to find out that you're going to find friends for life. And then my last thing is just tell everybody. If you're going to truck driving school, I would highly suggest you tell everybody that you're going to truck driving school. I know we on this little move where we like move in silence. Don't let nobody know your next move is your best move. I would say tell everybody. One, it's something to be proud of that you're trying to do something for yourself. And then it's like sometimes when people don't know, they don't get. I would rather tell everybody, like, look, I'm going to truck driving school and I'm going to need to be focused. So y'all don't invite me out to the club, but don't offer me no bottles because y'all know my temptation got me fucked up when, I'm sorry, it's you too. Y'all know my temptation gonna get me messed up knowing I'm going to have to be somewhere in the morning or know I got to do something, you know, and because it might not be that serious to them, but it's serious to you, especially when you know you got goals and stuff to accomplish in the future. So yeah, make sure they know and make sure that they know they're serious about it. And it's also great to have somebody to talk to. I know for me, I have my little sister, like, look, you know, I'm going through this process and I'm scared to go through this process, and just somebody to be there that's going to hold you down and make sure you're mentally straight. So yeah, make sure y'all tell everybody, just so you got all that good. So yeah, y'all, that's about it for preparing yourself for truck driving school. In my next video, I'm just going to touch on actually being in truck driving school, and what to expect and things to avoid while in truck driving school. I hope this video reaches everybody, and I hope it informs some of my friends and or family that's expected to go to truck driving school to actually take those steps. Like I said, I wish I would have did. Can't all be it. So yeah, until then, I guess in the comments, I don't know, if you're a truck driver and you've been to truck driving school or whatever, let me know, you know, what you wish you would have thought, and if you're preparing yourself to go to truck driving school, let me know what school you decide to go to, what school you decide to run with, and things you're doing to get yourself prepared. Yeah though, but until the next time, y'all, I love y'all. Be safe, mind your business, and